What's up, guys? It's your host, Daniel Biaba, and I'm back with another podcast episode. And it's been a minute. It's been about 2 weeks, but I'm finally back. Finally back. I went on a 2 week holiday to the Europe, and it was amazing, man. I was in the UK for about 10 days, I believe. Then I went to France, Paris, for about 5 to 6 days, I believe, and it was pretty exciting, pretty did a lot of sightseeing. Did a lot of traveling, obviously. Tried a lot of food, but the food wasn't too exciting. It was just tastes the same as America, for real, honestly. And when I was in the UK, I went to a football match, and it was worth it. I agree. I will say it was worth it. And I went to we'll just start off with that. I went to Coventry Football Club's match versus Tottenham Spurs. If you guys know about Tottenham Spurs, they are a Premier League team, and they were playing against Coventry, which I believe is the second division, is the league after Premier League. I believe it's called English Football League. I believe that's what it's called. But they was playing in the carabaocup, and the atmosphere was amazing. As soon as we got there, we sat up by the Coventry's, like, I don't know what they call it, but it's like it was a section where, like, they were chanting everything, like they were just chanting their sayings. I forgot what their sayings was, but it was lit. That side, it was like a college student section, not a student section. They chant and all that, and that's what I felt like I was at, a student college section, college section. But the atmosphere in the arena was amazing, bro. You could just tell by, like, you could tell it was a must win game, obviously, because it was in the tournament. But they were playing against a higher division team, so, like, the fans were excited. They don't really play Premier League teams like that, so they probably play them once a year. Like, I know last year Coventry played United in a I think FA semifinals, but this one was a Carbonian Cup, first round, I believe. Yeah, it was first round. So the fans were excited to play Tottenham, because the last time they played Tottenham was like years ago. Years ago, I can't even tell you when was the last time they played them. But the atmosphere was nice. I believe it was 0-0 at halftime. Yeah, it was 0-0 at halftime, because I remember Coventry scored on our side, and I recorded the goal. I will put it on here, but it's hot. It's not uh vertical. It's vertical recording, not horizontal. So I don't know if I'm gonna add the clip, or I might add the clip, but the goal was amazing. When they scored, the fans were lit. They were cheering their sayings. They were cussing out Tottenham side. Tottenham was like on the not the opposite side. They're like on the side of us, but they're all the way down. But they know that each other's chants, so, like, they probably heard what us fans were saying to them. But Coventry blew that game. Coventry was up 1-0 until the 88th minute. Tottenham scored a goal that was just so surprising, because, like, no one noticed it went in, because we were so far back from the other side of the goal. So when it went in, we were so shocked, because it was literally 2 minutes left in the game. And mind you, since they tied it, we thought it was going to be extra time. But according to multiple people in the stands, that game was going to go into a penalty shootout. So I was like, okay. I was excited for the penalty shootout. I was going to record the whole penalty shootout if it was on our side of the goal. But the penalty shootout never happened. 2 minutes later, in additional time, Coventry allowed another goal. And that goal, we all seen that coming, because they just broke through the whole defense, and, like, it was like a 2-on-1 advantage at that point. At a point, and the goalie went up, and I forgot who it was on Tottenham that scored, but they scored, and us fans were so shocked. I was so mad, because Coventry literally had that game in the bag, and I don't. It was just so frustrating because it's a Premier League team, and we don't play those type of teams ever. So if we would have beaten them, that'd have been huge for us, you know. But they lost that game. I had a great game, great time. That's probably like the best thing of my UK trip was going to that game. That was the best thing of the UK trip, going to that game. It was so much fun, and uh, I messed up. I was wearing a tech fit. I was wearing a cream tech fit to the game. You know, me not knowing soccer's atmosphere, I'm thinking we're just gonna be chilling like a basketball game. You chilling, you just sitting down. But nah, man. When Coventry scored, they were throwing like fans were just throwing stuff and like celebrating, and I'm pretty sure it was beer. Beer got on my tech fit. I wasn't even mad. I was just shocked because like I was like, damn, I would never expect this to happen. But it was still lit. I went to the dry cleaners the next day, took it to the dry cleaners, and got it cleaned. But yeah, it was a great experience that game. I would definitely go back to another soccer game. Definitely would. Definitely. That week. It was also Arsenal versus Man City. I wanted to go to that game so bad, but the tickets was through the roof, so we couldn't even get to go to that game. But we watched that game, and that game was quite interesting. First play, first play. Rodri gets hurt. He collided with a player. We could talk about that game real quick. Even though I wasn't planning on talking about too much Premier League, because I was going to talk about Champions League, because we missed 2 weeks of not 2 weeks. We missed 1 week of Champions League, and Champions League happened this week as well. So we're going to talk about those weeks. But Rodri got hurt the first play. It was something with his leg, I believe, but he flopped. Honestly, like him falling probably made his leg hurt even more because towards the end of the towards that game, Rodri ended up tearing his ACL that game. One of the league's best players towards ACL in a key matchup versus Arsenal, and I feel like that play from the first play, him flopping, probably affected his leg when he got hurt the second time. I'm not too sure. I forgot since it was a minute ago how he got hurt the second time. I'm not too sure, but he tore his ACL. Damn, what happened? Well, he tore his ACL. We could just say that. But Highlands came out the gate, scored a goal, 1-0. Arsenal responded back with a goal before half, I believe. They scored before half. Let me check who scored. I wasn't really going to talk about this game, but Arsenal versus Man City. Come on, bro. Man City versus Arsenal. Okay, yeah, Highland scored 9th minute. And a player I'm not too familiar with, Cargarito. Not even going to pronounce the last name. If you guys know him, y'all know him. He scored the 22nd minute. It was an amazing goal outside the box, I believe, or close inside the box. If I can really remember, I ain't gonna lie, I don't really remember. But that goal happened, tied at 1-1. And then additional time in the first half, Gabriel scored. I believe it was a header. It was a header. I believe it was a header. Uh, Torazar had a yellow card, I believe, during that game. No, I don't think we ever had a yellow card that game, but he ended up getting a red card on additional time as well. Dang, what did he do, bro? He got a red card. I remember a player got a red card, so Arsenal was playing defense the whole second half, and it was working quite a bit. They were defending. They were defending quite well. They took out. I'm not too sure, but yeah, they took out Saka to start the second half. To start the second half, they're defending well, and then the last second they allowed a goal. Uh, John Stone scored at the last second. Arsenal thought they had the game. I thought Arsenal had the game as well after because they were defending so well the second half, and John Stone scored the last second. I, for, I forgot how he scored. He scored. It was like they was in the box. It was the last second shot. I knew it was bad because they added eight additional minutes in the time for that game. And when they scored, Haaland did some crazy stuff. Haaland threw the ball at Gabriel's head. I just like trolling. It was just like a rivalry, Man City Arsenal. It's kind of like a new rivalry. But they got into it. They was face to face with each other after that. And Haaland was talking trash to the Arsenal's team because Arsenal thought they had it, but they ended up tying it, and it was crazy. It was crazy while we was watching it because it was like three of us in the family was going for Arsenal, then it was one person going for City. So that game tied. It sucked that it tied, but it was a great game. It was a great game to watch for Premier League. But that's all we can say about that game. I want to transition into Champions League because Champions League, that's what I love. Champions League. This is the second week of Champions League. Champions League is every other week. So the first week of Champions League, I watched the Liverpool versus AC Milan game, and Liverpool looked good that game. As I turned it on, it was already 1-0. It was already 1-0. Pulisic has scored for AC Milan. Pulisic been playing real well this season. He's been getting a lot of looks. Might go back to the Premier League to join Liverpool, but he's been playing well this season with AC Milan. Liverpool came in and won that game 3-1. Amazing header by Virgil van Dijk. Him when it comes to headers from the corner kicks, he's unstoppable. But they won that game 3-1. Liverpool got their first points. AC Milan dropped their first game. Bayern Munich, first game, they dominated. They won 9-2. Bayern Munich been looking good up to this week. I was going to say later on, but they lost to Aston Villa yesterday, 1-0. And they didn't play that well yesterday, but, like the manager said, he said one loss in the Champions League is not going to determine their Champions League success, which is not lying because they lost early and there's plenty more games to go into a knockout stage. But they started off 9-2. Not too much to say about that game. Real Madrid won their first game 3-1. Had another slow start. Real Madrid problem this year has been slow starts in the first half. I remember Rodrigo was talking about coach says that we always start the games slow. We only score in the second half, which has really been true. They only have been starting the second. They only been scoring the second halves, but they won 3-1. Kylian Mbappe scored that game. Antonio Rudiger scored, and Enrique scored, winning that game 3-1. But we'll talk about their situation after. We'll talk about their situation that happened yesterday later on the Champions League part of the show. Man City versus Inter Milan. It was a 2 years ago rematch of the Champions League Finals. That game was a 0-0 tie. Nothing too spectacular happened that game. I watched highlights. It was a great defensive game, I should say. I don't remember too much of that, but it was a tie. PSG versus Guernon. I believe that's how you pronounce that Spanish team. PSG won by a last minute own goal. Literally happened in the 90th minute. PSG. Oh, I forgot to talk about it. PSG. When I was in France, I had visited the PSG stadium. Oh man, that was a great tour. I liked that tour a lot. We went into the locker rooms. I seen like players' jerseys. I saw Garcelo Ramos jersey. I met him in Cancun on a boat. I saw Kimpele jersey, one of the Congolese native jersey. I believe his family's from there, or he's from there. And I also saw Rhino Kulu Malu jerseys as well. So those are three jerseys that stood out to me because their ties I got with them. But man, I love the PSG stadium. It just hurts that PSG used to be one of my teams, bro. If y'all didn't know, because I'm a big fan of Neymar. Neymar was my favorite player growing up. But they did him bold. They didn't want him. The fans didn't like him because they say he got injured too much. Mbappe is gone. The president didn't respect Mbappe. Messi's gone. The fans didn't respect Mbappe. Didn't respect Messi. So PSG, that used to be my team. They're not my team no more, but I really had an exciting PSG visit because that's the first time I went around their stadium, and the stadium was pretty nice as well. I could say they were showing. I went to one of the rooms. They showed like their history of the PSG, like back in the day. I didn't know PSG had quite history, but they don't got no Champions League, and that's what we're talking about right now. Champions League 1-0. They won that game. First time there was a Thursday game in Champions League. We was all surprised. We didn't know it was Thursday happening. Monaco beat Barcelona 2-1. That was quite surprising because Barcelona, they was on a hot start for La Liga. At that time, they were undefeated, but they lost to Monaco 2-1. Barcelona had a red card that game as well. Back-to-back games, they had a red card. They had a red card versus PSG last season before they got eliminated by PSG. And this game, they had a red card. So back-to-back games, they had a red card that cost them L's. So they lost that game 2-1. Let me check who ended up scoring that game. Oh, Lamine Yamal has scored that game. Lamine Yamal has been playing well this season. He's been playing well. He scored or assisted in like most of the games he played in. But yeah, he has scored that game. Arsenal and Atalanta, that game was a 0-0 nil. Pretty disappointing. Arsenal, we thought that was going to be the game they had, but it was a good game, good defensive game, but Atletico Madrid won their game versus RB Leipzig. That's how you pronounce the team. I'm not too sure. They had a game-winning goal at the end by Jose Maria Gimenez. He scored at 90th minute. Atletico Madrid won that game, and then the following week, we could talk following week now since that was the last game. Following week, well, yesterday they played. They played yesterday and they got beat pretty bad by Benfica 4-0. And that's surprising that they got beat by 4-0. Let's go. It's crazy because 3 Spanish teams lost in 1 week, and that's crazy because it was Real Madrid. I think that I just said the team Grino. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they lost. Atletico Madrid. So 3 teams lost in 1 day in the Spanish league. That's so surprising. But Benfica beating Atletico Madrid 4-0 is surprising as well. Benfica just beat them. It was crazy. That was just 2 days after Antoine Griezmann announced his international retirement from France, and that's kind of surprising. I didn't think he would retire from France league that fast because he has a great international career. I would say Antoine Griezmann's international career has been better than his club career as he played with Atletico and Barcelona. So for him to retire from France was kind of surprising, but mindful they got killed 4-0 versus Benfica. Real Madrid surprising L. They lost to Lille. Lille 1-0. I think it was a penalty kick in the box. They scored. They're going to 45th minute additional time. But it was crazy. I didn't think Mbappe should have played last night as he's been going through an injury. But that midfield spot yesterday was kind of shaky. They had a 4-4-2 Yesterday, I'm surprised they went 4-4-2. I felt like they should have started Rodrigo yesterday instead of Enrique. Rodrigo's been sacrificing a lot this year. It looks like when he's not starting, it's kind of surprising why he's not starting. And it's kind of surprising yesterday he didn't even get in the game, but Mbappe did, and Mbappe isn't even 100%. He came back from his injury a little too early. They said 3 weeks. He came back in a week. But the way Rodrigo keeps sacrificing for this team, I don't see him. I know he signed his contract to 2028. I just don't see him past Madrid, past 2026. I feel like I won't be surprised if he leaves and maybe go to Premier League, maybe go City. I won't be surprised if he goes City, but he's been sacrificing so far with this team. Uh, Enrique, he played okay. The midfield spot, I was surprised when I saw Camavinga was starting with Tuchel Minte. I was surprised them two were starting. They usually don't start together. So I was surprised them two were starting. So when I saw them starting, I knew it was going to a 4-4-2 formation. Uh, I was kind of confused. Like I said, I was kind of confused on Real Madrid's slow start again. They had another slow start, and I didn't think Real Madrid would lose in a Champions League game before they lost in La Liga game. I didn't expect that to happen, but like I said, it's only one game, but their streak has ended. It was on a 14-game winning streak, or not a winning streak, but like an undefeated streak because ties happened. But they was on a 14-game tied streak, but that has ended sadly in a Champions League. But they still have the La Liga streak and 36 games, I believe. So we'll see how that goes. But I know Real Madrid will bounce back next week. They play Tottenham next week. That's gonna be a rematch from the finals last year. Liverpool won 2-0. Liverpool is looking good so far in Premier League and Champions League. So with their new manager, new coach, they've been looking good. Juventus won 2-3 versus RB Leipzig. Like I said earlier, Aston Villa beat Bayern Munich 1-0. Atalanta won 3-0. And I wasn't able to watch because I was traveling, but Arsenal beat PSG 2-0. And PSG front three was bad. It's just crazy. The downgrade of the front three they have now. Barcaloa, Ling Hing. Who was the last one? Barcaloa, Ling Hing, and Duche. I don't even know who that is. Dewey. Man, it's crazy. 2 to 3 years ago, they had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe to this front three of Barcaloa, King Ling, and Dewey. And Arsenal played well without Odegaard. They had goals from Saka, and Kia Hervita. But PSG, they felt the loss with Dembele. Dembele did not play last game because he got to a disagreement with the coach. So the coach decided to bench him. And that was a key, because that was a key game. But Arsenal bounced back from their tie versus Atalanta and got the dub versus PSG. Man City won their game 4-0. Inter Milan won their game 4-0. Tottenham won their game 7-1. And Bayern Leverkusen beat AC Milan 1-0. So AC already dropped 2 games, and that's not a hot start for them. But there's plenty of games left. But uh, Bayern Leverkusen, I always get their team name wrong. Won that. I believe that's their second win, or oh shoot. I believe that's their second win, or they tied their first game. No, they won their first game. So that's their second win in the tournament. And Barcelona won 5-0 versus Young Boys. Uh, Rafiana was played amazing that game. Rafiana's been in the hot starts so far, and La Liga and Champions League. But yeah, man, that's we got for Champions League, man. A lot of upsets happened. With Real Madrid losing, Aston Villa beating Bayern Munich, and Atletico Madrid losing 4-0 badly. But it's just the start of the Champions League, my favorite type of football. Like I say, I prefer to watch Champions League more than the regular leagues. Because, like, the regular leagues, they're like, it's okay to watch, but it's like, who are the top of the top at those. But in Champions League, you bring up every team, everybody from each team. I mean, from each country to play against each other. I feel like that's more interesting to me. But yeah, another 2 weeks, I believe, is the next game. I just know Real Madrid plays Tottenham that week. We transition into to the NBA. We have some interesting news, man, in the NBA. 5 in the morning, I got a notification in Paris, and I saw Karlanthony Towns got traded to the New York Knicks for Juliusrandle and Dontedivincenzo. I hope I said Dontedivincenzo's name right. What I say about this trade, I was kind of because I wanted to see the not the New York Knicks, the Nova Knicks get together and play, but they didn't even play a game, man. I'm so sick about that. They had the group chat. I know the group chat was shocked, but I saw reports that said Dante wasn't too excited to play with his old teammates. So I want to know if that's true. I still haven't found out if that's true or not, but I think that's cap. I thought he wanted to play with his teammates. But dang, they had to trade Dante. They had to trade someone with to match Karl-Anthony Towns' huge contract. They had to find someone to match his huge contract. I feel like the Knicks got better, and I just don't know how the Timberwolves are gonna be though. Like Timberwolves they were second seed. No, not second seed. We'll see what they third seed last year. They're third seed, but I don't know because Julius Randle's health is to be questioned, is to be determined, and the fit with him because he's more like a ball dominant. He's an ISO player to me. He doesn't really post up too much. Julius Randle doesn't really post up too much, and he doesn't really spot up and catch the shoot. He likes to dribble to get to the spots, but that's Anthony Edwards. That's what Anthony Edwards is doing. Like Cat adjusted for Anthony Edwards. Cat became a catch and shoot player. Cat he wouldn't go to the post, but Cat knew his role. So it's gonna be for Julius Randle to adjust. But I feel like the Knicks got better and the Timberwolves didn't get worse. They just got an eh. They just got an eh. But Julius Randle knew his time with the Knicks was coming because the success they had with him in the playoffs. It would have been hard for him to come in and fit in next year. And I think this Mitchell Robinson could be next getting traded because I know they got their starting five set, and I know Mitchell Robinson isn't healthy. They got Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG, now Cat as a starting five. You could throw in who was starting at what position and who's not. And that's a solid starting five. I feel like the Knicks are a top 3 team in the East. I ain't gonna lie to you. They could be a second seed. I see them being second seed because I got Boston first. Second Knicks, third Philly, fourth the Bucks. I see that's the top 4 seeds over there. With the Wolves though, I don't know how good the Wolves are gonna be. They got Conley at the 1 and Jaden McDaniels, now Randall and Rudy. You know how I feel about Rudy. I don't think Rudy's gonna be good enough in the playoffs. And now they losing. That's why Naz Reid gotta be huge next year. Naz Reid gotta be huge. Alexander Walker gotta be huge. And Dante's gotta be huge. But I feel like they're gonna be a good regular season team. But the success, what they're gonna have, we'll see. I'm not making too much predictions on that right now. we're gonna wait towards opening night, which is in a few weeks now. We're in October. It's been a few weeks now. Preseason's still starting this week, this Saturday. So we're gonna determine all that. But I just want to get that trade. Just want to announce that trade. How I felt about that trade. But I'm sick about Dante, bro. I wanted the Knicks to play, but I see why Dante said he wouldn't fit. Well, he wouldn't fit, but like his playing time would go down because he did go crazy in the playoffs. And for everybody to come back healthy, I know he wouldn't start. And Josh Hart probably wouldn't have started either because they would have probably started OG, Mikal, Randall. But who was their five because Mitchell Robinson was hurt? I don't know how that worked if that trade didn't happen. But yeah, the Knicks got better. Karlanthony Towns like a bit about like a player I always thought would go to the Knicks eventually because they were always in the trade talk. So the Knicks, if they do their thing, they should be solid. I hope Cat comes in there and with a chip on his shoulder and start dominating. But I like Cat's game. I like Julius Randle's game, man. You know, they both Kentucky. They're both Cowboys. My fault. They're both Calipari boys. So it's gonna be exciting for the Knicks for sure, and the Wolves, and the Wolves. Let's transition into college football. It was a game of the week, probably the game of the year. Georgia versus Alabama, 2-4 at the time, and it was 1:30 a.m. in Paris at that time, I believe, and I watched that full game. I couldn't miss the Alabama versus Georgia game, and it lived up to the expectations, the hype, and Alabama answered the call how they will be without Saban this year, and I'm excited. I ain't gonna lie, you know me, I have my doubts for Alabama this year, just because I'm a Saban guy. Like, if I was to play college football, I want to play with Coach Saban. So I was just like, dang, Coach Saban not gonna be on the sideline this year. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be this. But then I had to think about it. It's still Saban's quarterback, jalenmilroe, so I'm gonna ride with them. And then it's Kellen DeBoer. His resume is nice. He was just in the finals, the national championship, and his offense is amazing. And I was like, okay, so let me just ride out with Bama for this year. And they looked amazing in the first quarter. They were up 21-0 in the first quarter. Jalenmilroe was throwing dimes. He was running. He was running on the running through the team. I remember 4th and 1, read option. J.M. Miller trucked. I mean, he blocked somebody, had him down to his knees, and 4th and 1, Jalenmilroe comes to score a touchdown. They was up 28-0 at one point, and in the second half, the third quarter, Alabama was slow. They was getting 3-and-outs. They wasn't capitalizing on all the fumbles. I know it was a fumble that they capitalized on. They was going for field goals. You know, Carson Beck, he started off the game, you know, sluggish. You know how road games. His draft stock probably dropped for sure that game, but the road game, he started off slow because it was a road game. I could tell, but he got into it. He eased into it. He threw he threw more yards than Jalen Milroe for sure. But he started settling down, and they came back. They ended up taking the lead for like 1 minute. Well, not even 1 minute, like 20 seconds. 34-33. And then 34-33, was it? Yeah, 34-33 because 39 and 2-point conversion, yep. And then Jalenmilroe, first play of the drive, they were down. Threw a deep ball to Ryan Williams, a 17-year-old number 3 player in his recruiting class, supposed to be a senior right now, skipped the senior year. Caught the ball, hit a spin move, a half spin, and took off and scored, man. Ryan Williams is nice, man. Probably the best wide receiver, best freshman wide receiver out there right now. Yes, I say he's better than Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. He is better than him. But Ryan Williams is a bad man, man. For only being 17 years old, then his NIL value went up. That was a great game to watch. Georgia came back, came down the field. You know, they were advancing the ball. And then Big play from another freshman. A freshman on the defensive side. I can't remember his name, but he got the game-winning pick in the red zone. Took a knee. Bama celebrates. Now they're ranked number 1 in the country. That was a game. That was a good game. This week, I'm not too sure. There's no big games this week to discuss, but this episode, I'm just going like, what did I miss from my 2 weeks gone? So I might be all over the place. I'm just going what's on my mind. But shout out to Bama, man, getting that dub at the crib. There's gonna be plenty more good games for the SEC. I'm telling you, SEC is winning the championship this year. If it's not Bama, the SEC is still gonna win it, man. Texas is looking good. Arch Manning is looking good, replacing Quinn Arrows. If Quinn wasn't a senior, Quinn probably would lose his position spot at the starting position. But Quinn is nice too. I feel like Quinn's gonna get his time when he's back healthy. But I'm loving it so far, man. I'm loving it for both teams. I mean, I'm loving it from Texas, even though I'm not a Texas fan, and I'm loving it from Bama. But yeah, NFL. We could talk NFL. Fantasy this week. I'm 4-0 fantasy. One of my leagues, 2-2. Shout out to Shaquan. Shaquan had a big week. One of my weeks, he had 33 points. I don't know. He had 33 points in one of my leagues. Is fantasy on my laptop? I'm not even logged in. I can't even show y'all. But fantasy, NFL, we could talk about Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions played a Monday night game, and I couldn't watch it. It was at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I had a flight the next morning, so I didn't even stay up for that game. I woke up. Jared Goff threw 18 for 18. Let's go look at that. Jared Goff threw 18 for 18. The Lions beat the Seahawks 42-29 for the first time since 2012. It's crazy. 292 yards, 2 throwing touchdowns. J-Mo got a touchdown. Amar got a touchdown. Jamar Gibbs got a touchdown. David Montgomery had a touchdown. It was a great game. It was a great game. I saw the highlights the next morning, and the Lions were lit. The fans was lit. Them black jerseys is hard. And the Lions are looking good again, man. I wish we was 4-0. They lost their game when I was in London. I was pissed. They lost the Buccaneers because we just beat them in the playoffs. But we should be undefeated right now, 4-0. Shout out to the Lions, man. Putting on for Detroit right now. And there's another team that's been putting on for Detroit, too. And that's the Detroit Tigers, man. I want to talk about Detroit Tigers a little later on in this segment. But I want to just finish talking about these NFL teams right now. We can look at the NFL standings. We got the Steelers 3-1. Surprisingly, the Steelers are 3-1 right now. They got the Cowboys this week at the crib, and I think they will beat the Cowboys. That's my predictions for one of the games this week. Bills is 3-1. They just lost to the Ravens. The Ravens, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, they were starting to figure their rhythm out, man. They started off 0-2, just went back-to-back games. They should be 3-1 right now. They lost to the Raiders. Can't believe that. Speaking of the Raiders, crazy Devontae Adams, man. He's being that diva that he is, man. He requested another trade. Last time he didn't get his trade request. Now he wants to get traded to the Jets or the Saints. He wants to go back with Derek Carr. He didn't do nothing with Derek Carr and the Raiders. Now he wants to go back with him. I feel like they just ship him to the Jets. They just only want a second round for him. I thought the Jets could give him second rounds for Devontae, so the Jets might as well do that. The Jets are struggling anyways. They can't even beat the Broncos. Like, what? Come on, Aaron Rodgers. You can't score a touchdown versus the Broncos? Yeah, okay. The Commanders been looking nice. Jaden Daniels is on one of my fantasy teams that's 4-0, and he's been looking nice. Jaden Daniels has been looking nice. But let's see how long that lasts for them being on top of the division. They still got the Philadelphia Eagles. I know people are sleeping on the Eagles right now, but their best 2 wide receivers did not play last week. Jalen Hurts, yes, Jalen Hurts got to slow down the turnovers. Jalen Hurts, he hasn't been looking right since the season they went to the Super Bowl. I feel like last year he struggled. This year he struggled, this year he's struggling. But they should be okay. They got Shaquan. Shaquan is gonna hold them down. Surprising that the Vikings is 4-0 right now. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but Vikings are 4-0. Let that sink in. Chiefs 4-0 this year as well. Like I said, Chiefs. It's just Chiefs. Chiefs are chiefing. We don't know how long that's gonna last with them. I mean, the undefeated season is gonna last, but I feel like they could go 19-0, win it all. I think it was 19 plus playoff games is 19. They could go do that and win a Super Bowl, or they could go undefeated and lose to us, the Lions, in the Super Bowl. Either way, that could happen. Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield's looking nice, 3-1 right now. And that's all I gotta say. Let's do these quick predictions. Primetime games today: Buccaneers versus Atlanta. I got Buccaneers winning a close one. I wanted it to be a shootout because I'm starting Kirk Cousins this week because Jalen Hurts got a bye and Jared Goff got a bye. So Kirk Cousins is my only resort at the QB spot. So I hope it's a shootout, but the Buccaneers win that game. No, I want Atlanta to win that game just because the Buccaneers beat us. Atlanta. The Jets versus the Vikings in London, England. I'm gonna do that prediction just because. I got the Jets winning. I think Aaron Rodgers bounced back this week and gets the dub versus the Vikings, give Vikings their first L. The Bills versus the Houston Texans this week. I say Houston. That's going to be a good game. Stephon Diggs' first game back versus the Bills. I got Houston winning that game. That's going to be my 1 o'clock prediction. 4 o'clock, Rams versus the Packers. I want to say the Rams win that game. Never mind. Rams don't even got Cup or Puka still. I'm sick of predicting that game. The Rams going to win that. Not the Rams. The Packers are going to win that. Jordan Love's going to have a bounce back this week. He had a struggle game. 8:20 game Sunday night. Dolphins versus not Dolphins. My bad. Oh my god. Cowboys versus Steelers. I got the Steelers winning that game. Cowboys not going to show up on the road. I feel like the Cowboys are a joke this year. They're going to be an average team, 9-8, 10-7. I feel like this is one of their L's as well. Got Steelers winning. Justin Fields runs. Justin Fields does his thing. He had a great fantasy week last week with 30 points. He's probably going to have a good game. Hopefully he has a good game this week. And they get the dub. They should have won last week as well. They got cheated with that late penalty. KC, Kansas City Chiefs versus Saints. Got the Chiefs winning it. Chiefs are not going to lose a primetime game. Hopefully I'm wrong, but they're not losing a primetime game. We got the Chiefs winning that game, and they go off 5-0. WNBA, we can hit that real quick. The playoffs has begun for the WNBA as well, and it's been quick so far. We had actually number 1 seed Liberty versus Dream. It's best 2 out of 3 in the first round. Liberty won 2-0. Lynx was 2nd seed. Mercury was 7. Lynx won 2-0. Connecticut was 3 seed. Indiana Fever was 6 seed. They won 2-0 as well. And the Aces, 4th seed, and Seattle Storm was 2nd seed. And they won 2-0 as well. All those games won 2-0 in the first round. And I don't like that because the higher seed had home games for the first 2 games. And that doesn't make any sense. Why would they get both? Why would they both get home games? Like, why are both of the games home? Like, it should be a lower seed, second game 2. And then if it was a game 3 happen, the higher seed gets it. That's how it should have been. That's why I'm not surprised all these games went 2-0. It was not fair. Now, the second round is best out of 5. And I believe it's the same as well. Like, the first 2 games go by Yeah, the first two, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, the first two games are at the home field. If it's best out of five, it should be 1-1. Oh wait, it should be not 1-1. I mean, I see why they got it for best out of five, but game four is never guaranteed. Once you're down 2-0, you have to win. Like, the Aces are down 2-0, surprisingly, to the Liberty. I had my New York Liberty winning last year versus the Aces, and so I just know I had to win this year as well, even though I didn't get to predict it. But Aces are down 2-0, and now they only get one guaranteed game they have to win, and if they win that game, they get another home game. So that's cool and all, but I don't know. I felt like, let me know what y'all think of game. If best out of five series, the lower seed should have game two. I don't know, but Aces is down 2-0, surprisingly. Shout out to Tiffany Hayes for missing them free throws. Shout out to Chelsea Gray for stepping out of bounds. Go Liberty. Lynx versus Connecticut is 1-1. I got the Lynx winning that because Collier is a beast. I love her game. And shout out to her for winning Defensive Player of the Year. So I want the Lynx versus Liberty to be the finals. No three-peat for the Aces, but shout out to Ajawilson for getting the MVP. And shout out to Caitlin Clark for getting Rookie of the Year. And I'm so sick she didn't get unanimous. But I didn't think she would get unanimous. Whew. She got 66 out of 67 votes. Angel Reese got one of the votes. But I thought the voting was going to be a little closer. I didn't think she would be one vote away to get unanimous. So I feel bad that she didn't get unanimous Rookie of the Year. And shout out to what's her name? Carlington from the Suns for getting most improved and being on the first team. That's the first time I saw a most improved player get on the first team. Yeah, so shout out to her. Shout out to Rakia Jackson for being on the all rookie first team. And I don't know who else was on there. I just going off the dome. But I got the Lynx in Liberty, and I want Liberty to get their ring this year. I want New York Liberty to get their ring this year. I saw Kelsey Plum was talking trash to Spike Lee, and that didn't end well for her because Becky Hammond was cussing her out game two because she had a bad game. So hopefully Liberty knocks them down in 3, and hopefully it don't go to 5. Because if it goes to 5, you can't bet against the the 2-time champions that's going for a 3-peat, and you can't go against the MVP. So hopefully the Liberty get them out of there before it goes back to game 5. Now, my last topic, the Detroit Tigers, man. Detroit Tigers has a road. That's not even a word. Has risen from the dead. At a time, they were nowhere near playoff contention. Then I look up one week, they're 3 games away. So I texted around, like, yo, the Tigers making the playoffs? My man CP said, yeah. I've been telling y'all they was gonna make the playoffs before the season started. And I wished he placed the bet on making the playoffs because I know the odds was slow us making the playoffs. But the Tigers that made it to the playoffs. We got the Houston Astros, the cheaters, the first 2 games. I'm sick. We didn't get no home games out of that, but we went down to Houston and we took both games. I watched the second game yesterday. Shout out to Andy Asbanza. I hope I said his name right. Number 77. RBI triple to get the lead 5-2 to give us the win. Shout out to him. Shout out to the whole team. Honestly, shout out to Riley Green. But I just want to question, like, why did we throw so much pitches out there yesterday? Like, by the 5th inning, we had like 3 pitchers already. I'm like, yo, what the heck? No, nobody knows. But y'all let me know why they threw so much pitches out there. But man, I'm excited for the second round versus Cleveland Guardians, man. I'm gonna try to be at that game, man. And I don't care what y'all say, man. Y'all wasn't fans when the Tigers were down. Y'all ain't been to no games. I try to go to games this year. I ain't gonna lie. I tried to go to games. It just didn't go. It just didn't fall through. But I'm gonna try to be at the game next week. Hopefully the game's a night game, cause the 4 o'clock to 1 a.m.s. I mean the 1 p.m.s. I got work, man. So I need that. I need it to be at like 7 so I could get there. But man, I hope we play the Yankees after we finish the Guardians, and then hopefully we see the Dodgers in the World Series, man. We need the Tigers, man. We need the Tigers to stay hot because they didn't let us They didn't let us get hot. So shout out to them gritty Tigers, man. Shout out to One Pride, the Lions, man, and the Pistons will be up there soon because the Red Wings is coming as well. Red Wings were 1 game back from the playoffs. So, man, I think that's all it for this episode, man. It was just a brief episode of what I missed from the past 2 weeks that I've been gone, man. And we back dropping every week. You know, I had never missed a week until I went on holiday. But man, like, share, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and I'm out.